Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I just got off work and I was actually watching one of my old videos. I do that. Call me a narcissist if you want. And a thought came to my mind when dealing with Elijah setting up the stones in the trench and the moat around that little shrine until it was engulfed by the fires from the heavens. Now, everything I just said is symbolism. I don't want you to go build any of these things and wait for fire to come from the sky. Um, I guess a realist would say anything is possible. I have not lived for eternity, so I've not seen. I don't like messing with infinities because then I'm running into a logical error. If I say I haven't lived for infinity and seen it all, well, infinity doesn't end, and so then the concepts would never end, and truly all things that I don't even know about right now could be possible for the future me that didn't know about the things in the future from now. Okay, the point is that's a prophecy, and I'm going to explain it, of course. When Elijah built those things, I said in the previous video, let's say you have the stones that was set up, right? That's I'm going to put this into a double entendre. You have the stones that was put up. Well, the stones is representing the mountain. The stones is representing the mountain, and then I'm going to tie into how my dream with the moon and the sun actually remind me of this, and it all ties together, and it's pretty interesting. So you have the mountain with the little rocks that Elijah set up, but then you also have what we could consider as an institution that was set in the earth like a rock or a mountain that wouldn't fade without some type of intervention. So we'll say, as an example, we'll say Mount Everest, unless a meteor came, hit it, and knocked it out, and we all survived. But don't let that image flood your mind. That was just an example. And so Elijah set up some rocks or an institution or a teaching or a movement or a spirit, right? So then after these rocks were set up, then remember he dug a trench around it. We'll say that's another form of protection. You go read the word, it's like a double-edged sword. You fuck around with it, you might cut yourself. So the moat is representative of how the mountain is protected. And truly, when you see the true nature of the mirror or you see the true nature of the spirit, you then understand that it's like a mirror. And I'm not in competition with the rest of the world, but actually aware to myself and the things around me so that I can guide righteously, the moat. So then you'll have the waters, right? The word is like the living water. Well, also it could be like the streams that come from this institution that are taught later down the line. So you have this structure right here. We'll say it's like a mountain with many rivers protected by a moat and entrenched with the dew, right? That's a metaphor from my perspective right now of the institution of possibly the Bible and religion, world religion. It's like a mountain. It will never fade, right? It's this huge mountain. But also, the most interesting thing about this prophecy, twofold, is that on this mountain, or later on, the Lord comes and rains fire down and engulfs the rocks, the waters, the grass, and everything in the area until nothing's left. Well, I believe that's symbolic, and it's written many times about this in the prophets that one day the Lord, and when I say that, I want you all to understand that people may not understand what I'm talking about. People may have not know what I'm talking about. But to me, what you're seeing is different people throughout time coming and throwing fire, like the last angel in the Revelations, the one that comes out of the tabernacle. And what happens is different men throughout time come and throw fire on this mountain, or different people throughout time. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said men. Different people throughout time throw fire at the mountain from the hearts, the heavens, until it is obliterated and the prophets of Baal no longer are here. Now, even when dealing with the 450 prophets of Baal and Asherah being slain, I don't believe in murdering people like that. I don't know why mankind is so brutal and violent, and yet I do, because I'm a man. And so, essentially, that's just a metaphor saying, now, once the fires have removed all these lies, all these false religions, all these false teachings, all this blah, blah, blah. And I want you to understand when I talk about false religions and teachings, all information is subjective until the user makes it objective. And so when I say that, I'm simply talking about people using it to manipulate, whether it's for money, power, women, men, uh, groups, friends, using something to manipulate people when it's their deepest hopes, dreams, fears, and terrors. You know what I mean? Because, first of all, anybody that's a shepherd should know that you should never teach anybody about anything that's infinite, especially pain. Because once you put that little bitty seed in the mind, once you put that little bit of information, it's going to go to the registry where it gets saved. But initially, once that image is hit your mind like a Google search bar, you're going to look up hell and demons and dragons and all this shit. That image that was drawn by another human or something is going to go into your mind like it's the real thing, like it's that thing that you're looking for. Then throughout your life for a while, you may have that direct image or other ones that grow. But then from that moment, once it's buried deep within, once you get over that hump, you then have a repressed memory which then affects your conscious every day, your conscious mind, which then affects your decisions. There's two aspects of the brain. I think it's gray matter and this thing in here. It's called something. This is what helps you remember all your fears, the one that's deep in. The gray matter helps you explore new experiences, I believe. Please look this up. And so what I'm essentially saying that all that for is that a lot of people have let their fears bound them in a cage. Certain fears need to exist. I don't do things to harm myself. I have a fear of harm and watching others being harmed, as all humans I'm sure do, unless people claim to be masochists. The problem with diagnosing anything in this world is you don't truly know what's going on the inside with a person. So they could be wanting attention. They could just be talking stupid. They could be, I want to be a part of the sadistic squad. So some people do get pleasure out of seeing others get hurt, and some people get pleasure out of hurting themselves. But there is a big movement. I will say another institution. African Americans, LGBTQ, and women. African Americans are just everything, right? I wouldn't even want to be some of these other cultures y'all are claiming. What are you doing? The LGBTQ community, while about 80% of them I hear talking about grooming and Christianity and how they were hurt to all this other stuff, are groomers themselves. They groom people to hate other Christians. They groom people to think like them. They groom people to, and African Americans, if you don't speak the perfect proper, they get offended. Urgh. But then you got African Americans going to a job smiling every goddamn day, getting their heads beaten by racists and assholes. And people who are just mean. Other black people who are fucking rude. Uncle Toms and ignorance. But what's a black? What's a white? I'm brown. They're more of a peach, maybe. I don't even know. So, what are we doing? What are we building? And is what we're building going to be worthy of showing anybody else anything? Because when I say that, I'm not telling you to go do something. I'm telling you to be you in a way that doesn't cause harm and learn to accept you. Learn to be happy with you. Not because, oh, I can do this, as if I was sitting on a couch talking to myself and that was the only thing to do. Be happy with me. Do not worry so much about what the world is doing unless they are righteously telling you that you're causing harm or shouldn't be doing something. So, prophecy. First of all, atheism is kind of wow. Just because two sides of a coin, baby. But what I'm telling y'all is subtly over time, mankind, especially as intellect rises. When I say intellect, like I said, all knowledge is subjective till you believe it. I'm saying actual productive intellect. I see children in other countries that eat a meal that these children wouldn't touch. They want chicken nuggets, fries, and blah, blah, blah. And I was the same way. But it's not because we were inherently born like that. It's because we were taught to be like that. And anything can change at any time. My first cat was Pharaoh, and he's the most loving. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything can change. So, I want y'all to continue to be y'all. Fuck gives a fuck what I think. But I want y'all to enjoy it while also not causing harm to other people. That's all I ask. Who am I? I am you. We are one and the same. Because if you're not, then why are you on this planet? What aren't you telling me? After meiosis, when your parents' germ cells come together, honor thy father and mother, then oneself is formed off the mound within the womb and the earth and grows and grows and grows doing mitosis. All the different 7s and 3s and 10s in the Bible is symbolic of the 10 commandments. 10 laws turned into a fucking book that has a lot of influence. As humanity goes forward, we will become more intelligent. More people will let go of the lies because everybody's entitled to their own religion. But when I say religion, I'm talking about spiritual thoughts and what you do on an everyday basis. The Native Americans used to eat the whole buffalo and then use the bones, all the tools, and didn't waste shit. That sounds pretty productive. But a human, American, and a lot of others human, I'm tired of American, China, British, this, that. No, you're all the fucking same. And when y'all get around each other, you try to assimilate and act similar. And the ones who don't, who claim to be leaders, ain't shit without the group. So, let's get it on. What are you prophesying? What are you creating? What are you building? What are you going to do today? If you lay down all day, who fucking cares? But at the same time, if you need to get your ass up and not take that drink or that hit, then who gives a fuck about me, right? You go do what you gonna do. And like I said, I am who I am. And when your consequences come, don't say this, that, this, that, this, that. You, not Jehovah God atheists. You and them. God, Yahweh didn't put people in the forest and murder 10,000 Benjaminites and Judahites. Y'all did. God is a fucking word. Y'all are action beings that carry out verbs. What are your verbs? Just do it. Because when who I am comes around, one either is going to go up or turn into fluid. Hope you understand.